This is Countdown to Economic Collapse, June 12, 2011. I'm David John Sponheim, running for America's Third Party as president in 2012. My goal is to help create a new beginning for Americans, common Americans, a place where they could actually participate in their government. Unlike what we have today with the two-party system controlled by elitists, we are spearheading a movement in America that will bring a voice to the common man and woman in government. And I hope to be that person that embodies what the American people want. And right now, the American people want Wall Street to be held accountable. We want to know why all that money that went out to the bailout is being dispersed among very rich people and not being distributed to the banks to make loans for the American people to get their life back together. Well, the big flaws in our economy can be seen as the government looking the other way, and doing so intentionally. Obviously, special interest groups control our politicians and make them look the other way. So bills are written that aren't properly designed to keep funds in America, and many companies have taken that money and invested abroad. Now, there are other issues that are developing. There's a new .com boom and burst coming. Companies like Groupon are announcing they're worth $30 billion. Initial public offering their own proprietors 22% of the company. These are companies that are blowing themselves up, much like Facebook was valued at $50 billion by Goldman Sachs. These companies are creating another boom, which will, of course, affect the stock market and will burst eventually. Companies like Google aren't really turning a big profit, and they are taking a lot of investor capital and just squandering it on meaningless, seemingly nowhere projects that lead to nothing. We need to see real entrepreneurship in America. We need to see free enterprise and the free market take shape. But what we're seeing right now is a heavy-handed government with no sight to the future, no vision for innovation, and an overall corruption factor which is dragging it down. But there aren't many changes occurring within our economy that are positive. And that's why the stock market is beginning to decline. And it will be on a downward cycle for some time to come, I believe, simply because there's no hope in sight. Barack Obama has spun out his teleprompter words and nothing is happening. He's not making any substantive changes in the economy. So the American people are getting very, very despondent. Investors are very, very scared where to put their money. And overall, our country is declining. And this can all be turned around if we look at the key components within our economy, like jobs, like housing, like opportunity, like innovation and exports and manufacturing, and fix them. But the biggest problem of all is the waste, the tremendous overspending of Barack Obama. $1.6 trillion over budget every year since he's been president. These are significant factors. And ironically, now they're focusing their efforts in the Obama cabinet at getting reelected at a time when he can't even fix the problems he said he was going to fix. He promised us 4 million jobs and delivered not even 1 million. He promised us out of a war, and we are still involved in yet another war, a third war, which he has embroiled us in, Libya. This concept is not going to go away. We are seeing our country be used as the nation-building force or police force to the world. And the order of power is not centered in America. It's centered in Europe. It's centered in the IMF, the World Bank, which seems to be manipulating Barack Obama. Now, we need a leader, not a person who's manipulatable. We don't need a puppet. We need a person who will guide us toward a better future. And with this man, we are headed toward a sabotaged economy, a disturbed foreign policy which seems to increase violence as opposed to subdue it, and an overall general lack of forward thinking by Barack Obama. He is engaged in a process of serving his masters, not being a leader. And I intend to do the opposite. I intend to get this nation's borders shored up, create a solid nation built on sustainable concepts. The idea of our own independent source for energy, no longer reliant so much on foreign oil, and building up the renewable energy future of America is key. Now, the Nissan Leaf and the Volt are in a head-to-head race for the number of sales this year, and Nissan Leaf is beating the Volt. Now, we're seeing a trend toward electric cars, and we support that at America's Third Party. Hybrid electric cars, plug-in hybrid electric cars, are the key to our future's energy independence. So our future will evolve, and we're going to do it despite the government interfering in our daily lives, despite the government being too big. We're going to spearhead a third party and tell the two parties enough is enough. The corruption has gone on too long. You know, it's ironic that Nancy Pelosi and Harry Reid are attacking Anthony Weiner. Representative Anthony Weiner committed a horrible act of sexting. Well, I'm sure all of us have in some way done something in our life which we regret. But the reality is this man has important issues to discuss. He's probably going to lead the Democratic Party away from Barack Obama. And I would urge him to stay in office. And I would tell Nancy Pelosi to look to herself and look to her own spending problems before she starts attacking someone else for their indiscretions in public life, or private life for that matter. Now, I want all of you to realize that our country is full of people like Anthony Weiner. People who are not proud of their life, not proud of what they've done, but who really do care about the future of this country. And for us to castigate people based on an act of sexting is absurd. All I can tell you is what we need to do is focus on the issues, not on people's petty problems, and get beyond the hypocrisy of the age. We need to start thinking as rational human beings, no longer caught in this puritanical ethos of the past. We have to expand our horizons and think about the possibilities that all of us have important contributions to make in our society, and obviously Representative Anthony Weiner is one of them. So I urge all of you to start thinking with an open mind and vote third party in the coming election. Begin to think about this nation uniting as a country of Americans, not Republicans and Democrats, but Americans working toward a common goal. I'm David John Sponheim, and I support this message.
Check us out at americasthirdparty.com.